Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 Podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sin. Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. If you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications. Podcast avatar provided by Demon Artie. Be sure to follow her over on Twitter at Artie Demon. You're currently watching part 3 of a 3-part series. Be sure to go back and watch parts 1 and 2 first. Stevenson is also serious, so serious, about making sure the audiences of all ages see themselves. Every version of what this world really is comprised of. And every version of what the world is really comprised of, including ethnicities. What ethnicities? Are these people African American? Are they Asian? This is a different world, so what are they? See, they just made them not white. That's not a race. Body shapes and LGBTQ relationships like Bo's fathers. You mean the goofy, the stereotypical 90s sitcom gay dads? It's ridiculous. They weren't interesting or anything. You had the one that was the man and the one that was like the goofy mom. It was pathetic. Why couldn't they just be two awesome guys? And they were badasses, and they were cool and great. Wouldn't that have been wonderful that they were both like ex-soldiers, and keep the story about them not liking war because it destroyed their previous families and killed their wives or whatever, and they found each other, and they both had children, and they fell in love that way? Wouldn't that have been great? And they were both awesome dudes? No, one's like, oh, I can have the sparkly eyes and everything. Well, here we go. So no. And then you have Natasha and Spinnerella. They're in one episode. They say maybe 4 things, and throughout 3 seasons, it's ridiculous. If that's the representation is that tiny little bit, then I guess that's good enough. Inclusion and diversity is in brackets for something is something I take really seriously. I bet you do. And it's a personal mission of mine. Oh, that's wonderful. To make sure the stories that I'm telling reflect as many viewpoints as possible. That's a muddled, stupid way to tell a story. Tell the story from 1 or 2 perspectives. You want to tell from every single perspective? Where's the transgender character? Where is the pregnant Mexican lady? See what you do? You go down this rabbit hole where you can never represent every single person in every situation. Just write the story and let it naturally happen. If 2 characters, you write the story and they're homosexual or lesbian or whatever, then write that story. But to start out with that and trying to reach it, it never works. That is, show as many people living out their fantasies that hadn't got to see themselves reflected in their fantasies. I am a huge hater of this concept. No, I grew up a fat Mexican kid, Hispanic or whatever people are calling us now. I will never say Latinx, and not in a condescending or making fun of kind of way. I loved Nightcrawler. Absolutely loved Nightcrawler in the X-Men comic books. He's a blue demon German guy. He didn't have to look like me. He didn't have to act like me, but I loved his honor, his faith, his courage. Oh, it was everything to me. And to this day, even in the latest House of X comic books, there's an amazing scene with him and Wolverine. I just absolutely love it. It's a sense of clarity in a situation where he's going to die. He basically has to teleport Logan onto the space station thing to fight the mother mold. And it's by the sun, so he's going to get evaporated in a second. Not for a moment does he waver, because his faith and his courage carried him through, because he's a freaking hero. And he didn't have to look like me to see that. He didn't have to sound like me or come from a background like me for me to care about him. So that concept, you can take that and just throw it in the garbage, because that is so stupid. Oh my goodness. Rant over on that one. I think it should be something that all creators need to address. No. And think about in their work. Do not do that. I want to feel like you're watching She-Ra, like, oh, of course that person is there. Or of course those 2 characters are together. Of course the main character, why wouldn't it be? Of course his story sucks. Of course the animation is garbage. Of course everyone wants to kill Swiftwind because he's the most irritating character on the planet. No. Yeah, that is just, there's so much no in that, it makes my head explode. As the seasons progress, Stevenson promises that Adora, Glimmer, Bo, Catra, and other new characters will continue to show audiences different sides of themselves as they grow up and into the people they're meant to be. Wouldn't it be great if there's just a time skip and we got Queen Glimmer and she's like 8-9 years older and they do, wouldn't that be just so cool, and just see them as adults and hopefully grown as characters? I think that would be really cool. They'll never do it though, because they don't have to design new characters, and you know how they feel about that. And again, it's not just that we have to reflect today's era. Oh, Noelle, that's all you know how to do. Or keep up with other media, she says. I balk a little bit when people ask, this show has introduced the thing and that's progressive. What are you doing? What are you doing to beat that show? I don't think it's about beating each other at all. It's about being equally mediocre so no one can be better than anyone else. Rather than we have this common goal in every show that makes a little bit of headway and paves the way forward for shows. No. Your job is to entertain people. If there is a message in there and you want to talk about like racism, and again, I go back to the 90s X-Men comics in the 80s. They talked about things like racism. The whole idea of the X-Men. They're hated, absolutely hated by the people, and they do what is right. They do what they believe to save because they have these powers, these gifts, and they're going to use it for the betterment of mankind, not to be the detriment of mankind. You can relate the X-Men to anything about being different, about being it can be a racist thing, about being black in a white in a white neighborhood and you feel alone and on the outside. It can be about being gay in a conservative family and you feel like that's the X-Men did all those things. She-Ra doesn't do any of those things. When is any of this shown? Again, wouldn't it have been great again? When Bo basically was that whole My Two Dads, that's not the name of the episode, but that's what I call it. I think it's called Reunion. But when he had to tell everyone that his dad's that he didn't want to be a historian, he wanted to be a fighter. Wouldn't it have been great if his parents rejected him? Like one father was like, well, you'll always be your son. And another father's like, I don't want to talk to you right now. And kind of rejected his son. And then maybe a couple episodes later, in later seasons, he comes around and loves his son again. But wouldn't it have been great to show that struggle that, hey, this bad thing happened. My dad doesn't want to talk to me anymore, but I'm doing what I feel is right. Wouldn't that have been better than the group hug at the end and everything is better? Show a more realistic situation where it did hurt Bo that his dad to not accept him for who he was. But he knows joining the rebellion, fighting the Horde, doing what's right is more important right now. And then his dad will come along and, come over to his side and love his son again. But let it stew a little bit. There's none of that happens. Everything is fast food media and it just, you get it, the story reflects, boom, it's done, and you have nothing to think about. But that's the end of this ridiculous article. So let's go back to the title. How to change animated storytelling in season 3. Again, how did it do any of that? Season 2, I think, would have been a better thing for this. Season 3 was just turbo mode of 6 episodes. So, yeah, another ridiculous article by a ridiculous author about a ridiculous creator, Noelle Stevenson. You can turn this around. She really, really, really could. But she has to give a crap. She has to try. And when she tries, she can do things. Decent things. The Shadow Reaver Light Spinner episode, for example. She can make good stories when she tries. But when everyone's constantly praising you, you don't have to try. You don't have to grow. You don't have to become a better artist or a better writer when everyone loves everything that you do. But anyways, that's another article. These things keep popping up, and I just have to make videos. I have to be the opposite. I got to show some sanity in this world when people talk about the show being the greatest thing ever, and it's just mediocre to bad. But thanks for watching, guys. Stay subbed. Hit us up on Twitter. Join the Discord server. There's all kinds of fan art. People post all kinds of cool stuff. So be sure to check us out over there, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Crimson Sin here. Thanks for watching the video. If you're enjoying the content, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss a single upload. If you have any tips or story ideas, hit us up on Twitter at C15 Podcast, or better yet, join our Discord server, link in the description below.